It's easy to get excited when the Cybertruck starts to feel a little bit more real because Hydra has now begun shipping the 9,000-ton Gigapress, and Elon Musk has confirmed that they are awaiting its arrival at Giga Texas, which basically could be any day now. So to see Cybertruck production equipment finally being installed at Giga Texas is making a lot of people get more excited. And of course, I've been telling people to taper expectations about the Cybertruck for a long time, but I think you've all heard my arguments before. We're not talking about range today. We're talking about other reasons as to why you should taper expectations surrounding the Cybertruck, and the best and unique way I saw myself being able to do that is reminding people of things that Tesla has removed and how that will absolutely pertain to the Cybertruck once it enters production, hopefully next year. So I've narrowed it down to the 10 most noticeable things the Cybertruck will be missing, despite the fact that it will be a very capable pickup truck, extremely durable with the best charging network, amazing turning, a state-of-the-art interior, next generation hardware, and all that stuff. Here's just some of the main things you should consider it won't have. So for one, it's important to keep in mind that because Tesla has only taken pre-orders for the Cybertruck, these are not final configurations that are locked in. That means they are not the same as ordering a Tesla today, and they've already confirmed mobile connectors are not standard with their vehicles anymore, which means, yeah, even people who may be spending $70, $80, $90, $100,000 on your Cybertruck, none of them are going to come with a wall connector or a mobile connector for free. You're going to have to pay out of pocket for that charger that you end up using to keep your Cybertruck powered from home. Bit of a bummer, especially considering how expensive and how high-end of a vehicle this is going to be. Tesla doesn't even include the mobile connector on the Plaid Model X with full self-driving equipped. Nope, even when you drop that kind of money on their vehicles, you gotta spend the extra $200 if you want to charge it from home. Next is a more recent decision that Tesla has been very clear on: ultrasonic sensors. So yeah, the Cybertruck prototype should have been a pretty good giveaway, because if you look at the up-close images that people have taken of the Cybertruck, there's never been ultrasonic sensors on it, and that will absolutely apply to it now that Tesla is removing it from the Model 3 and Y, and they said next year they're going to remove it from the Model S and X, which there's already been a Plaid Model S delivered in China, specifically I think for showrooms, that doesn't have any ultrasonic sensors on it. So I expect the Cybertruck to be no different, and that will likely help streamline production because they don't have to make room for 12 little individual ultrasonic sensors around the bumper, or heaven forbid trying to drill holes for those things through all of the exoskeleton. That would have been really expensive and complicated. But yeah, hopefully Tesla Vision with the cameras and the occupancy network are good enough so that by the time the Cybertruck launches, it will still have basic features like park assist and summon and auto park, things that people are used to having with their Teslas now. But if you take delivery of a Tesla in the next couple weeks that doesn't have ultrasonic sensors, unfortunately, you're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. Hopefully, Cybertruck customers are used to waiting. But yeah, I think Tesla Vision will be good enough to replace Park Assist by then, but who knows? Park Assist based on Tesla Vision maybe won't perform quite as well as Park Assist does with the ultrasonic sensors. We'll have to wait and see. The third one that I think a lot of people are forgetting about now is that if you haven't ordered a Tesla yet, or of course completed your Cybertruck order, which no one has yet, you will not get standard connectivity free for the life of the vehicle. So in case you weren't aware, everybody ordering Teslas now gets premium connectivity for 30 days, which will probably still apply with the Cybertruck unless they scrap that too. But then after that, you get standard connectivity for 8 years, which standard connectivity involves GPS navigation, so being able to plug in routes and destinations. It even counts things like using your phone as a key just via Bluetooth, because Tesla realized that in the long run, there might be new standards of GPS or new standards of Bluetooth that everybody starts supporting with their phones or with certain satellites. So basically, they're not promising that even navigation will work after 8 years of ownership, at least for free. Essentially, they might either start charging you for standard connectivity, which sounds weird, or you may have to pay extra to retrofit the car with upgraded GPS hardware or upgraded Bluetooth hardware, and that will not be included for free. But this was a change they made last summer, so luckily we got our order in before that update has been made, which means the car I'm recording in right now has standard connectivity for life of the car, which I guess means in the future, if I need new GPS systems or an upgraded version of Bluetooth, they will offer that as a retrofit at no additional cost. Tesla has not been very clear on how standard connectivity is going to work after 8 years. It's kind of even hard to imagine the user interface of the car without navigation being there. So yeah, very confusing, but it's important to acknowledge that all Cybertrucks will have that 8 years of free standard connectivity. And I just know a lot of people personally that have said that the Cybertruck is going to be their last car and they're going to hold on to it for decades, and that exoskeleton is going to hold up really, really well. And yeah, I'm sure the exoskeleton will, but the tech and the smartness of the vehicle is still only covered for 8 years by Tesla. Number 4 is a pretty obvious one, but just something to keep in mind. Radar, which has been removed on all Teslas over the past year, but Cybertruck will be no exception to that as well. They're just going to go all in on Tesla Vision. And this kind of ties into the ultrasonic sensors as well, but the prototypes of the Cybertruck have a front bumper camera. And in the past, Elon has said, and I don't think you should believe everything he says, but I do agree with the concept that hardware 4, or basically the next generation full self-driving computer, will likely debut in the Cybertruck, because we've seen Tesla ordering cameras from new suppliers for the Cybertruck, which means that while no, it won't have ultrasonic sensors or radar, and it's just going to be going all out on Tesla Vision, I do think the Cybertruck will have next generation full self-driving computers, which in the past they've said that computer will be based on handling better resolutions, maybe even better frame rates. So my theory is that the Cybertrucks, even the production models, will have a front camera bumper, and all of the rest of the 8 cameras, maybe more, surrounding the vehicle will be of higher resolution than what we have in the Model 3, Y, S, and X. Tesla said to be ordering cameras from Samsung that will probably be either 1080p, maybe 1440p, which will allow for better resolutions, better visibility on the front, which Tesla claims you won't need hardware for to achieve safer than human self-driving. But with hardware 3, which is the full self-driving computer my vehicle has, that should be able to perform 2 times to 3 times safer than a human, whereas the Cybertruck with hardware 4 will be able to perform 5 times to 10 times safer than a human. We'll see if they're actually able to live up to those claims, but yeah, radar is a pretty common feature on a lot of high-end vehicles, and especially a lot of electric pickup trucks these days, but the Cybertruck will not be rocking radar. The other one that Elon has showed off with the Cybertruck on stage is door handles, which were in the original 2019 prototype, but in the updated prototypes, they've decided they want the Cybertruck to have auto-presenting doors, and likely not handles, but perhaps buttons near the door columns that you'll press when you want the door to open, and similar to the Model X, they will open up and you get inside, and then they automatically close, or you can pull them down yourselves. But that's a fairly standard feature that a lot of people are used to seeing in their electric trucks or regular pickup trucks, and this just goes another step further to say, yeah, by the way, the Cybertruck will be so different, so unique from any other vehicle on the road, yeah, it won't even have as basic as a feature as door handles. So just another unique and yet cost-cutting measure that Tesla will take in order to ramp up production faster. Number 6 is one we feel pretty confident about given the rollout of the Model S and X, which is gear stocks. I was tempted to also mention that the Cybertruck probably won't have a full steering wheel, but based on what we've seen with the Tesla Semi, which is entering production now, that has a full steering wheel, and maybe for towing purposes or enough people complaining about the Cybertruck yoke, I still feel like there might be a chance Tesla ends up going forward with having a full steering wheel, or maybe making it an option in the future. We don't know yet, but what we do know is whether or not they go forward with the yoke or whether they go forward with the Tesla Semi steering wheel within the Cybertruck, neither of those have gear stocks, which means the blinkers will be buttons on the steering wheel, the microphone will be a button, even the autopilot will just be a button right there on the wheel, and you'll probably, similar to the prototype, change gears just by swiping on the display, you know, swiping down to go in reverse, swiping up to go in drive. You probably will park the car just by pressing the display, and that's probably going to be a lot for people to get used to, especially people who are used to traditional pickup trucks. There's not going to be any, like, gear paddles back there for you to interact with, whether you're changing directions or putting it in park. I imagine, similar to the Model S and X, the car will likely automatically put itself in park as soon as you unbuckle your seatbelt, which honestly I think is a really cool feature, and I wish they would bring that to the Model 3 and Y, because whenever I unbuckle my seatbelt, the car just starts yelling at me, whereas the Model S and X owners, it just puts it in park, which is what I have to do anyway. So Tesla's all about reducing complexity and reducing steps, and unlike most trucks, it will rely heavily on the display for many little details like that, and that could turn a lot of people away from buying the Cybertruck, but when demand is as high as it is, I don't think Tesla really cares. The next one seems obvious, but it's probably just worth mentioning. The Cybertruck won't have paint of any kind. It's just gonna have this raw bare metal steel on the outside, which is honestly, I think, part of the reason so many people are excited for it, because that's just going to accept dirt and mud and scratches a lot better than most other trucks will, where you notice dents and scratches, and especially in the paint, some people just wear it as a badge of honor, but I feel like the Cybertruck has this Mad Max aesthetic that will embrace that age and wear much better than any other truck would. And while some people may be used to painting their truck or like to have a pickup truck in a particular color, I've seen concept artwork of what the Cybertruck would look like in white or in red, and honestly I think think it looks pretty good, but Tesla is, I think, wisely just deciding that, well, if you really care about the paint, you'll probably just get a wrap from a third-party shop, and if you don't really care about the paint and you just want it to be as bare bones as possible, you just want a truck for as little money as possible, then why are we gonna fuss around with trying to paint match things and get the body colors right if you're gonna wrap it or not gonna care what the exterior looks like anyway? And frankly, I know that a lot of people hate the look of the Cybertruck, but it's grown on a lot of people and has a way of standing out and being so iconic compared to the rest of electric trucks, or any truck on the market for that matter. So it won't have it, but I think it kind of helps it find its own voice in its own market. So no paint on the Cybertruck. The next one is something else that still a lot of people are used to having with even electric trucks, which is a key fob. Tesla has recently ditched the key fobs on the Model S and X even, which means yes, even if you're dropping $150,000 on your Tesla purchase, you still have to pay an extra $100 or $200 if you want a dedicated key fob to, you know, open the doors, open the trunk. So I expect the Cybertruck to behave similarly, where they deliver it to you, probably just two little credit card looking key cards that you put up next to the column of the vehicle to unlock it, just like you do with the Model 3 and Y. You got to put it behind the cup holders in order to tell the car that yes, you are allowed to drive this vehicle. And aside from that, they're probably just going to assume most of you are going to use the phone app as the key anyway, which I've been very happy with personally. My iPhone has worked great as a key, and I don't feel like I'm missing out by not having a key fob. Honestly, I prefer traveling lighter if at all possible, so even if this vehicle came with a key fob, I would probably not use it. I would not pack it with me. So Cybertruck's going to be very different in that way. You know, the most common electric trucks on the market right now are Rivian and Ford. Both of those come with key fobs and phone keys as options as well. Tesla's probably going to be the first pickup truck maker that delivers trucks without key fobs by default. I think the Hummer comes with one as well. Number 9 is something that could be easily missed, but the accessibility handles that you put on the side of vehicles. They're very common to see in Rivians and Fords and pretty much any vehicle these days. Tesla is one of the only companies I've ever seen deliver vehicles without the handles. Some people call them the oh shoot handles, for lack of a better term. I don't personally dig that name, no, just because most of the time I don't know people grabbing those handles because they're like, oh no, we're in trouble. Most of the time, the people that are wondering where the handles are up here on my car is older people, when we have elderly friends or family getting into the vehicle and they kind of want some help getting out or adjusting themselves into the seat. And there's still a lot of people that love riding in Teslas that aren't so easily able to get into cars. So based on the Cybertruck interior, you know, they might change that by production, but all of the prototypes and all of the interior shots we've seen are missing those handles. And I feel like it would honestly make more sense to not have them on the Cybertruck because of the higher ride height, but to have them on the Model S and Model 3, and yet we don't have them on these cars. So my prediction is the Cybertruck will be no different, and it'll essentially be the only pickup truck on the market that doesn't have those accessibility handles. Number 10 is one that probably a lot of people saw coming, and one I'm comfortable with. There will not be a start button, which many are used to at least having an ignition in their pickup truck, and some legacy autos still want to keep the start button around for EVs, but thankfully companies like Rivian have figured out that those are an unnecessary extra step that we can easily bypass. Just, you know, the car is always on, and when you put your foot on the brake, you're ready to select the gear and have auto shift, which I'm sure the Cybertruck will have. But those are 10 basic things that I think a lot of truck buyers are used to having that the Cybertruck will not have. Another honorable mention is a low starting price, because Elon at the last shareholder meeting said that, you know, we were really only taking $100 refundable deposits. So the Cybertruck's going to be an amazing vehicle, but don't expect the pricing to be that accurate anymore. So I think that's his way of saying the Cybertruck's going to be pretty freaking pricey, and I still think it will likely be the best pickup truck you can buy, but it's still going to be missing a lot of things. I think that Tesla is innovative in that they know what to leave out just as much as they know what to include, and that ticks off some people, but in the long run, it benefits them. It helps them become one of the best-selling vehicle makers in the world. It's part of the reason that they were able to scale up Giga Berlin to make the Model Y the best-selling car of any kind in Germany, which Germany, of all places, with all of their famous auto brands and established automotive presence, it's crazy to think that Tesla, who's the new kid on the block, shows up there, starts production, and within less than a year is able to outsell all other vehicles in that nation. So that's why Tesla is able to do the insane things that they do, and I think the Cybertruck is just going to be the most insane product that they ever release. Yes, I do believe it will come. I don't know when, but I'm not one of those people that's just like, oh, it's vaporware, it'll never launch. It's going to be late, of course, it's already late, but it will definitely stir up a lot of conversation, and I can't wait to experience it for myself in time. Feel free to let me know if there's anything I missed in terms of things you think the Cybertruck won't have that might tick off a lot of people or might confuse a lot of people down in the comments below. And thank you to everyone on Patreon supporting this channel directly. It seriously helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos. So thanks again, and have an excellent rest of your day.